Sounds like it.
Good morning, happy Friday, happy Valentine's Day to everyone. So thank you for being here. My name's Tim Swadley, I'm the mayor here for the city of Stoughton, and I have some special guests today. And Amy's going to be the first guest. She's going to talk about Stoughton Health. And then we have Sarah and the chamber is here, and then Dr. Kieser's here from the school district. And if there's any time left over, I'll talk a little bit, but I really want to give them the time that they need to go through all the great things that they're doing right now. So, go ahead.
Well, I'll kick it off for today. My name is Amy Hermes. I'm part of our administrative team at Stoughton Health. I'm filling in for our CEO. Maybe. Oh, there he is. We have a new CEO at Stoughton Health, Dan DeGroot. Some of you may remember him. Did retire in December, wanted to spend time with grandkids and his parents. So we now are welcoming Chris Brabant into the Stoughton Health family. He started in December with us. He was the former president and CEO at HSHS St. Clair Memorial Hospital. So he does come with some great background and great experience with rural health. He also was in the Air National Guard. Chris is also a practicing clinician. He has 40 years. He started as a surge tech, and I gave him a rough time when he started because that's a position that we are seeking all the time as our surgical tech positions. But he now is a perfusionist, and has a lot to do with cardiac care that he does, and so still dabbles in that a little bit. So it's nice that he has the leadership CEO background, but also very much a strong clinician coming into the organization. He does hold a master's in business administration. He's also a fellow of the American College of Health Executives, and is certified again in his cardiovascular perfusion. So hopefully you'll get a chance to meet him. I know I see some familiar faces that he's been with our partners and trying to be out in the community a little bit more. But it's nice for you to be able to at least see his face here today on the screen. Oops. Gotta get my arrows right. Then I just wanted to let you know, if you haven't heard, we have a new podiatrist, and we're very excited about this. We felt a missing service that we could not provide at Stoughton Health. And so we have welcomed Dr. Zachary Lind to Stoughton Health. He started in December as well, so we've had a lot of changes at the end of 2024 and into 25. He has a clinic with us, and I'm going to show you some pictures of our outpatient center. He'll be moving into that outpatient center when that opens up. But he is board certified and comes with a very extensive repertoire of services he can provide. So he can do surgery on the front foot, the back foot. You can also do ankle surgery, all the things that you would think of when you think of podiatry. So just really excited to have him. One little thing that I'm just going to be transparent with is that we're working on some insurance issues with him. And so he is not currently paneled by our Dean providers. And we have had a lot of conversations with them. So if you have a Dean health insurance product and want to see him, please still try to make an appointment, come see him. We're trying to work through case by case with anybody that does want to see him with the Dean insurance. So, and we're asking folks to talk to their insurance providers as well to say we want to be able to see our care locally at Stoughton. So, but yeah, he's been just a great asset to the team already, and complements our already strong orthopedic services that we have at Stoughton. And then we have added a couple of urgent cares to the organization. So up in the hospital, we do have our ED and our urgent care services there. In McFarland, we opened an urgent care about 3 years ago now. And then we are now expanding, then opened to Cottage Grove Urgent Care. And we are expanding our hours in Oregon. And that is all under construction at this time, but will be completed at the end of this next week, actually. All of our hours and the off-site urgent cares are 8 to 8, Monday through Friday. On the weekends, they're 9 to 5, and they're staffed by, we have x-ray and some limited lab procedures that we can do at all those sites. Obviously, we can do more at our site here in town. The true urgent care hours at the hospital are 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., including weekends and holidays. So they are a little different, but obviously you come in, we're going to see you, whether it's an emergency room visit or an urgent care visit at the hospital. So I did mention at Oregon, if you know the Oregon area at all, we have our rehab center over there in Oregon, and that is I think by Culver's on the left-hand side as you're going into Oregon. We had an opportunity to take over some space in that building, So we were able to build out a little bit bigger gym for our rehab services on one side of the building. On the other side is going to be our urgent care. We're going from a 4-bed urgent care exam room to a 6-bed exam room, and hoping to also put some employee health services out in that area sporadically throughout the month. So again, that's under construction right now. We do have a ribbon cutting at 4:30 on the 24th. That address is 900 Jamesville Street in Oregon, but you'll be able to see it right off the road as you're heading into the main street of Oregon. So if you are interested in seeing what that looks like, feel free to stop by. We'll have a few little treats and be offering tours of both the rehab side and the urgent care side. And then the hours, that 8 to 8, will start on the 24th. Okay, this is probably our most exciting construction that we have going on, and you can't miss it if you drive through town, right? It's been renamed, and you know, in healthcare, I think in all industries, we love acronyms. So it's the Stoughton Health Outpatient Center, otherwise known to us at the hospital as the SHOC. So that construction is well underway. We have received the keys. They've turned over the keys from Cullen to us. So we're working on now getting all the informatics, the IT support that's needed in that area, all the furniture, the final cleanups, and just trying to get into that settling. And even though they were a little ahead of schedule, we are still not going to start moving services until the end of April, just to make sure that we have everything in there the way we want it. So we have scheduled an open house and ribbon cutting on April 23rd at 4:30 p.m. And that'll be before we have any patients actually coming through the building. So that'll be a nice time for people to get a feel of what the whole area looks like. So in that space, we do not have primary care at Stoughton Health, but we have a lot of specialty services, and they'll all be moving into that building. So we have cardiology, and then we're actually looking to increase our cardiology services in the near future. We have general surgery, we have orthopedics, we have podiatry, and we also have some urology. And we don't, it's a little bit of a misnomer that we have urology. It's actually more of a vasectomy clinic that's run through our urology department. So may not pertain to folks in the room today, but that's what the urology clinic is. And then you're probably familiar that we have rehab services out on the end of town by 138 in the SWAC building. So that will all be coming back on site. So all of our physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy that is housed in that building will also be coming on site. And then if you've ever had any friends or if you've used our cardiac rehab, that's also moving into that building. So a lot of movement going on, and we're going to do it step by step. We're going to move cardiac rehab first, and then we'll start, then we'll bring in our rehab services, and then we'll start moving the clinics specialty by specialty into the building, and hope to have everybody settled in their new places by the end of May. And I should mention, I forgot, in that building also there is what we call a shell area that wasn't built out. So you come into the first floor, maybe there'll be some pictures here that'll show this. This is actually, we put solar panels on our building because we knew with a big new building and new services that we were going to be draining a lot of juice from the city, right? So we put some solar panels up there to help with the electricity on that building. But this is then the lower level. So what I was going to say, when you come in, the lower level, these are the registration areas. So that's where you'll come in and register for any of the services that you need in the building. All the services are up then on the second floor, and the staff down here will direct you to where you need to go from there. And then this, if you are familiar with Stoughton, we did have to take down several large trees that we pained over taking down because they were beautiful and, you know, just looked really nice, and wanted to conserve them if we could. And because of the parking lot and what the root structure would do, we were not able to save the trees, but we have incorporated some of the wood into the building. So that's just a really nice feature. And then we're also going to have a coffee bar by our registration area. So again, this is the first level that you walk into, register, and then they'll direct you to the services that are on the second floor. Behind this, this area here is the shell space. And that's just a really unfinished space right now. We'll be having some strategic planning meetings coming up this year to try to figure out what we're going to do with that, but wanted to get the specialty clinics and the rehab up and running first. And this is the gym floor. So some cool features that they put in. You can see, if you see right here, there's a little bit of a glare, but that's a walking path that goes all the way around the gym area. And then they also have a lift. So for people that may struggle and need a little extra support, there's a ceiling lift that goes around the same area. So some nice features that we were able to put into that area. And then we've also had some renovation on the inside. You wouldn't see this from the outside, but in our OR areas. So this is a picture we built out. We had another shelled area that we wanted to build into a fourth OR. So we made a state-of-the-art fourth OR for our orthopedic surgeon and general surgeons. And then we also remodeled the third OR to be similar. So we have some really neat features and hopefully planning for robotics in the near future. I'm going to flip into some foundation and updates from Laura May, as many of you probably know her. One of the things that the foundation is doing to raise money is a calendar. So we've had a lot of goodwill from different business folks in town here that have purchased a month. And then that money that they purchased the month with, if your name is drawn, you get given that. So I don't know if anybody has calendars. Does anybody won on any of those months? Oh, Sandra, have you won something? So
no, I haven't, but I have.
You have the calendar. You're waiting to win. So it's just a really nice. It's been nice to see the support from the community supporting the fundraiser, but it's been a fun thing for people to purchase and then have a chance of winning some money back. And that's just a list of our folks that have sponsored our calendar raffle. And then there's always a lot of talk in the news about staffing and staffing shortages everywhere, right? So we are starting to see our staffing come back into place, which is a good feeling. And I wanted just to share with you where we're at staffing-wise, just in case you have children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, friends, neighbors. I'm not going to be shameless, but I'm putting in a plug. But we do have open positions right now. Really in our radiology department, that is a high demand area for us. We do a lot of imaging, a lot of different modalities. And our surge techs, as I mentioned, and then some other ones that are listed there. But one thing that we have done over the course of time is we've really established a grow your own program. So some of these positions, especially like a radiology tech, a surge tech, can come to us and we help support their education. We help them with their clinical hands-on. They need a certain number of hours. Sometimes they're getting their didactic or their book work at a local college. Then they're coming to us for their clinical. And we have established a workforce development fund. So we use the money off of there and help support their education that way so that they're receiving the money for their tuition. They're also being able to work in some not outside of their scope of practice, obviously, if they're not registered or certified in the program they're in, but able to be supported as techs in some of the areas. So it's nice that we can work around their school schedules, we can give them the clinical that they need, and plus support them with financial needs. So it's really neat. So if you know of anybody that's looking to get into healthcare, we also offer job shadows. Feel free to contact me. You can get my number from Laura or Laura Trotter or someone, from anybody, everybody knows me. You can get my number, call us to the hospital, and I will get you guys connected to the right person. But it is nice, and we are a very fun organization to work with, and that's just a few pictures of capturing different things that we've done with our staff. And then today, after you get done here, if you don't have anything to do, you can head out to the blood drive that's at the Community Health and Wellness Center. So another big need. We don't know if the blood donations are down because of weather or the time of the year, but we're always in need of blood. And then some upcoming community education. Dr. Robin, who's our orthopedic surgeon, has a new procedure that he's using for ACL repairs, and that's called the Bear implant. So he has a talk coming up in March that you can learn a little bit more about that. And then we have our Safe Sitter program, which is just around the corner on the 22nd of February. Safe Sitter on the 25th of February, and then Good Mood Foods on the 26th. And that's going to be at Hy-Vee with a dietitian and just looking at nutritional food and reading labels and things like that. So, I probably whipped through that pretty fast, but I know we have other speakers, and I'm be happy to take any questions. Yes?
I've always wondered what the difference is between urgent care, needs, and emergency care. Can you explain?
Yeah, so it's easy when you go to urgent care and it's in a building, it's off campus, right? When you come into the hospital, it really, urgent care, if you're coming in for a sore throat, that's urgent care, that's easy, right? If you're coming in because you're having difficulty breathing and you think you're coming in for urgent care, you might have more going on that's going to require more testing. And so it just depends on if that level of care needs to go up, if there's more testing that needs to be done to diagnose what's going on. So it really, a lot of people, and it does get confusing because a lot of people think they're walking in for urgent care, but then if there's more going on, if it's a more involved situation and the doctor feels like I really, to get a better understanding of what's going on, I need to order more tests, more procedures, that's what drives it then to an emergency room visit.
And emergency room is 24/7?
Yes, that's 24/7. So our urgent care would be billed at the hospital from that 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Good question. It is confusing. I understand that. Anything else I can answer for you? Well, thank you. All of you have been former patients or have known people that have used our services. I'm proud to be at the hospital 38 years this year. I was telling June, I have loved working at that hospital every day of my life. I tell the CEOs, it is my hospital, it's not yours, because I live in this community. So I just want to thank you all if you've used any of our services. And I would welcome, we always look for great feedback, but if you've had experiences that have been not so good, we do want to hear that, because we want to be the best healthcare provider in our community that we can possibly be. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. We're so fortunate to have our own hospital here in Stoughton. Many communities in Wisconsin don't have that, and we're seeing a trend, especially in the rural, where some of the hospitals are closing up. So when we're out talking to people that want to move to Stoughton or locate their business here, that's one of the things that we often talk about is having that here locally, and really it's locally operated too, which is really important as well, because the people that serve on the board are community members, they're vested in the community just like Amy is, so we really do appreciate that. Next up will be the chamber. Sarah is here with her team. We have a couple of microphones if you want to play tag. And then I'm going to set Dan up while you're speaking, so pay attention to Sarah, not me.
Good morning. As the mayor said, I'm Sarah Ebert. I'm the president of the chamber. And today, I just wanted to explain what is the chamber, who's all in the chamber. It has evolved throughout the years, and actually I am in a super fortunate period of time that we have a bigger staff. So when there was just one person there or two people, they had to wear many hats, but now we each have our separate one. You may have known Callie LaPointe. It was her and I for the longest time. She was in charge of the visitor center, and she was also in charge of our events. And on my end, I'm in charge of the businesses. So that hasn't changed. I'm still in charge of the businesses. My job is to recruit and meet new businesses, find out what they're looking for. Why would they want to join a chamber? Because they join it for all different reasons, and we have all different reasons to join it. One of the big ones is they want to get more involved in the community. This is a great way to do it. They want to network and meet other business people, especially if they're new to town or they're a newer business. We have a lot of opportunities for that. Another reason is that we have such a great relationship with the city, the school, the hospital, that they get an inside, they get to hear first kind of thing. So people like to join for that. So I focus on the business piece. Soon, at the end of the month, we'll be getting out the membership directory. You all will get that in the mail. It goes to all our residents, and it lists all our chamber members. So that is, stick it to the side. You can't use this word anymore, but it's like a telephone book. I wish sometimes we had a telephone book. So it's by category. So if you're looking for somebody, these are people that have invested in our community, and they would be my first go-to. And if you're looking for something that isn't there, you can always give us a call, because I have no problems sharing, any business with you. So that is my portion. Now I'm going to introduce you to Clove Rui. She is in charge solely of the events in the chamber, and she has a little handout to give. I'll give it out of what events are chamber-sponsored events. We have almost all the big ones, not all of them, but these are our chambers events.
Yeah, so our main events, our major event, our flagship event is Set in Mai. We're in charge of Set in Mai. And then our second biggest event would be Coffee Break. And then we also have a Community Expo, which is in April, and a Wine Walk, which is downtown, and that's usually in October. So right now I'm in full Set in Mai planning. It is less than 100 days away, so get excited for that. I'm excited for that.
I think I grew up a little bit.
Yeah, this is my first year doing all the events for the chamber, but I'm super excited. I grew up in Stoughton, so I know how all the festivals and events work. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be in charge of all our favorite events in town. Does anyone have any questions about any of the events? Or okay. Oh, yeah, what's up?
What is exactly the Community Expo?
Yeah, so the Community Expo takes place at the Mann Center. It'll be on April 3rd this year. And it is an opportunity for area businesses, specifically in Stoughton, to come and showcase different aspects of their business. We have like the hospital, I think, does a booth, yes. We have like...
We have about 60 businesses that participate. Chamber members are mostly all chamber members, but they, non-chamber members also can participate. Of course, they have to pay more to do it, but.
Yeah, so it's a great event. It's free for anybody to show up and just walk around and get to know everybody in the community. I highly encourage everyone to show up and just get to know everybody. You might learn about a new business that you didn't know about before. Yeah, it's just a really great opportunity to get to know everybody in the community. So.
How do you sign up to volunteer?
Oh yeah. If you want to volunteer, you can always email me at events@stoughtonwi.com, or you can give the chamber a call. We're always looking for volunteers for any of our events, especially Set in Mai. That is our biggest event. It's mainly volunteer run. I have so many great volunteers that lead all of our specific smaller events within Set in Mai, like the canoe race, the arts and crafts fair, the parade. So I'm very fortunate for them. Within those, we also need volunteers the day of too. So if you want to volunteer, you can always give the chamber a call, and I'd be happy to sign you up for that. Yeah. Anything else? Any more questions? Okay. So now Amanda is going to talk, and she is our tourism coordinator for Visit Stoughton.
Thanks, Clove. We love Clove. Clove has been amazing so far. Can I sing a song? Yeah. Okay, gotta be really, really close. As Clove said, my name's Amanda Thomas. If you have been to the chamber before, you've probably seen me at the front desk. I am new to the tourism role, but I've been with the chamber for 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years. For a while now. I was the administrative assistant at the front, so if you have gone in there, you've probably seen me before, but now I am the tourism coordinator for Visit Stoughton, which was another portion that Callie was a part of. She was a very busy lady. So some of the things that I get to work on is helping to bring people from outside of our community into our community, so that way they can experience the wonderful things that we have here in our town. So I've been working with our tour groups to try and figure out how we can increase more visitation and just bring more people to stay and come and visit and see all of our wonderful pieces that we have. We've also been working on our visitor guide. We're very, very proud of the visitor guide. It's been a big project, long in coming. So you guys are very special because nobody's seen this except for us and you. So this is a sneak peek of the Visit Stoughton Guide. Beautiful, beautiful. It's awesome. We're so excited about it. So if anybody wants to take a closer look, you're more than welcome to come in. I'll let you see it. But it is a prototype, so it's not done yet. Other things, and we've been updating the Visit Stoughton website. So if you ever need to find a business, you can always look in the community guide for the chamber, but you can also go on the chamber website, or you can go to visitstoughton.com too. So, any questions for me and Visit Stoughton?
And just one quick little distinction, not always the visitor center isn't always part of a chamber, it sometimes can be a part of the city, but that is funded by room tax. So the hotels and the Airbnbs and, you know, the bed and breakfasts, it's all built in. So there's a room tax that money comes out for, and it goes to the visitor center in the city. And we use that money to bring people from outside of Stoughton to stay inside, to come to Stoughton. And the big goal is to have them then stay at the hotel. So we do a lot of partnerships, trying to figure out how we can get people to come to Stoughton. So you may obviously not see all that advertising here because you already live here. That would be not a wise way to spend our money. So we have, you know, sometimes you will see billboards, radio ads, TV. We really do a really nice job getting people to come in for Set in Mind. So all that, when you see all those outside stuff like that, that is coming from the visitor portion of the chamber. Yeah.
You mentioned the visitor center in the city. What is that part of the city government?
No, it's part of, sometimes it is with the city in other towns. With this town, the visitor center, the tourism center is within the chamber.
Okay, but when you were saying when the money comes in, it comes to the visitor center in the city.
It comes actually to the city, and the city gives, we get the biggest portion of it.
They give it to you, okay.
Yep, and then they take a little part of it, and then the chamber can take a little part of it. But it's all designated, it doesn't matter who has it. That money is strictly designated to bring and promote Stoughton and bring people in. So it's not like the city can use it to buy more salt for the winter time. I mean, it's in that kind of bucket. I see it already. Yeah.
The city does do some marketing as well, in particular the Opera House is the big one, but yeah, it's nice to have visitor services dedicated to that. That's one less thing that we have to worry about. They're the experts in that area, we're not, so we've been really pleased over the years with that partnership.
All right, any questions for us? All right, hand it over to Dan.
All right, good morning. Dan Keyser, District Administrator of the Stoughton Area School District, closing in on my third year and kind of building off the theme of partnership. Extremely excited to get an opportunity to come back with the mayor to share some of the updates and progress from the first time I got to meet this group, which was an capital referendum in 2022. So due to generous support of all of you and our community, we were able to successfully pass a capital referendum, which allowed us to do some updates to all of our buildings, as well as add a new maintenance building and a new addition onto River Bluff. And so I wanted to take, of all the things that we can talk about with the school district, I wanted to take a little bit of time to just share with this group some of the great things that are happening in our schools. So starting with the high school, if any of you went to North's Afternoon of Fun, you probably got to see our biggest renovation update to the high school, which is the new Commons. The cafeteria and kitchen were original to the building proper, so 1965. It had not been touched or updated outside of just adding new equipment since that time. And so we went through a year-long process. We involved students, we involved staff, and I would say the feedback on this has been extremely positive. We've had a lot of people who have been very amazed at how this has changed. If you remember the old cafetorium, it was tiered. We even had a small cafeteria area adjacent to our kitchen. And we've moved that all and created a whole new space, a new servery, new kitchen, capable of supporting all of our students, and a new commons area which now has floor to ceiling space, new skylights which were a request from our students. And yesterday when it was nice and sunny, we actually didn't even have the lights on. It was that bright with all that natural light coming in there. If you've been in there, you've seen the Scandinavian architecture and themes throughout, from the flooring to the walls and so forth. We have seating that is little booths, so little quiet spaces for students who really like that cozy feeling. We have high tables, we have low standard level tables, we also have bench seating. And so this creates, without having to put walls, little zones where you can sit at a high table and you're not listening to the conversation of people sitting at regular sized tables right next to you because you're at a different height. So I highly encourage you, when you have the opportunity to go to Setnamite and you're up at the high school for the crafts fair, when you're buying things at the crafts fair, sneak into the commons area and take a look at it. River Bluff, this, if you've been by, you've seen the growth of this addition. This addition is a new gym, fitness center, and multi-purpose space for both athletics and academics onto River Bluff. It is right behind the district office. It will be completed over the summer to be opened at the beginning of next school year. So all of our construction will wrap up this coming summer in time for the next school year. It is about 70% complete. Thanks to the warmer than normal fall, they've been able to get a lot of things done and buttoned up. It also has a lot of windows in it. So we're going to have a lot of natural light flooding in there. I've been in there when they first installed the windows, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're not going to need lights on in the gym either. The brick on the outside is a dark purple with iron flecks in it, so when the sun hits it, it has kind of a nice orange glow, so it's going to actually change colors with the sunlight. It's kind of a neat effect. And with this, we are redesigning our drop-off and pickup, so now buses will be on one side of this new complex. Parents and students who are walking or biking are going to be on the other side, so now we'll have separate traffic patterns. So no longer will we have parents, students, and buses all competing for the same entrance and exit. Kaganza was the first of our 3 elementary schools to be updated. It was updated last summer, and literally from the last day of school to the first day of school in that 10-week period, this entire building was tore down to studs and rebuilt back up with new mechanical. So in 10 weeks, we went from what was Kaganza, if you remember that, to what you see here. We have the gym replaced the ceiling, and actually there were 2 drop ceilings, so we gained some extra height in there. New painting, the front entrance with new lighting and new paint, new mechanicals all throughout. So a 61-year-old building has been refreshed and is good for another good 10 to 20 years of service for our students. It's kind of hard to see, but if you go in there, the flooring looks like little rivers, and so they each have a different hallway. So we have an orange hallway, which our kids affectionately call the lava hallway. I'm stepping in the lava. We have a turquoise, which they call the river, and a green one, which I don't know what they call it. They just call it the green hallway. So it's fun to see our littles interact. They're like, I'm jumping in the river, I'm jumping out of the river.
Where is it? Where,
In Kaganza,
yeah, where is the school building?
the school building's on the east side, so it's, if you take a look at where the Quick Trip is, it's one block to the south of that. Our maintenance building on the old Yahara School site is nearing completion. It is scheduled to be turned over by spring break. We are actually going through the punch list right now. It is one large building instead of 3 separate buildings on the River Bluff site. Once this is turned over to us, we will take down the old maintenance buildings and turn that into green space and playground space for our middle school students. Even though they are as tall or taller than me, they are 11 years old and they still like recess. They need swings, they need basketball courts, they need places to run around. So the added green space is going to be very much welcome by our middle school students. But this will house our central receiving. It will also be our maintenance shed for all of our trucks and our equipment. And if you've been watching that transformation, it's coming along beautifully. They've been installing solar panels on this site, and then on the River Bluff gym, there will also be solar panels. So we'll actually have solar panels as well on 2 of those sites. That's been a commitment, again, as a community and as a school district partnering, trying to get more green energy into our system. The administrative building is being updated. Those of you who remember when it used to be a middle school, it was split level, so it has 2 floors and then a middle floor. We are adding an elevator. We're taking out the lift so that we can be ADA compliant. So people can now come into our buildings and get all the way up to the top floor instead of just to the boardroom floor. So all the construction in the front is really about adding in that elevator and rebuilding the secure entrances for that space. Of all the projects, this is the least. This update and then a couple of mechanical systems, because when we took down the community gym, we don't need as much air handling, heating, ventilation, all that. So we've decreased the energy needs of the district office because we're not heating as much square footage. This summer, we have outside of the high school in River Bluff, finishing up their mechanicals and additions. Sand Hill and Fox Prairie will be updated. Fox Prairie is going to go through the same transformation that Kaganza did the day after school gets out to the day before staff arrive. In that 10-week period, it's going to be torn all apart and it's going to be rebuilt up with new lighting, new flooring, new painting, new mechanicals and all that. Yes. And so that campus will be completely shut down just for those updates. Sand Hill, on the other hand, is getting some updates over spring break so that we can still run summer school out of Sand Hill this summer. So summer school is not moving to the high school, it is staying at Sand Hill, and we have built schedules over spring break so that we can keep Sand Hill open while we have summer school. Sand Hill, being the newest of our 3 elementaries, is getting the least of the elementaries, but it's still getting mechanical updates, some painting, some new lighting, flooring, and so forth. Questions? We look forward to opening up all of our buildings next fall so that the community can come tour them. So look forward to that. Yes?
I have a question not related to these buildings, but there is a historic school building right near your offices, kind of now situated in a parking lot for, I think, Riverview.
Yes, the 1892 building.
Right. Are there any plans for a revitalization or use of that building, like Oregon ended up doing with the old red brick school? That had been used for storage, and there was a lot of community concern, and the school district ended up selling it for business use.
For business. Very similar to Oregon, we are using our 1892 building for storage. We maintain the exterior. It is a historical site. It's on all three historical sites, the local Stoughton Historical Society, the State Historical Society, and federal. But currently we don't have additional uses for the space, so right now we're maintaining it. We're using it for storage because there's never enough storage. But if we come across the use that is compatible with running also a school district, which is unlike Oregon, one of the things that is a consideration. Because it's on school district property, we have to be able to have any use of that building. So if we were to release that to a private entity, business, whatnot, it's still school district property and need to be compatible with something that is appropriate for school-aged children. Yep. That idea hasn't come up yet. There have been several ideas, but nothing that where both sides have said, yes, this is the right thing. So we still keep the conversations open.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
And
Just one more quick thing that you reminded me to share with you for Sentinel this year. So remember last year we had the big change because the middle school was under construction, that we had the art fair and the dancers were all up at the high school. That is going to be the same again this year. For the same reason, but it really worked out well. Rose Malling will still be in the church, just the Methodist church across the street. So that worked out really well. And if you haven't heard, the race is going to start and end up at the high school because Man Park is going to be under construction. But I need to find a permanent home for that. And I'm really excited to try that because it's such a beautiful complex. It offers more that we can do with it. There's parking, there's bathrooms for the competitors, there's a place for the spectators to sit. The Stoughton Boosters is going to open up and sell concessions in the morning, so and then people can come down to the craft fair. So we're utilizing the west side of Stoughton for the race. We have a lot of great trails, and there's going to be more trails, so we're hoping to expand that. So we did change the mileage, and we changed this based on historical fact of what people are running now and by how many people we've gotten to register for things. So we're not doing 20 miles. 20 miles was really fun way back in the day when you could go from Madison to Stoughton, but even then, as the years went on, less and less people were doing that mileage. It wasn't really, it's weird. Not weird for us, but it was weird for a lot of people, so we had a decrease in that. So we're making it a half marathon. We will be the first half marathon of the season, and that's what people are running. So it's going to be a run or a walk. So we're making the walk, instead of creating another whole route for a 17-mile walk. Which, do you know why we picked 17 miles? It wasn't until I worked at the chamber did I realize the significance of 17 miles. 17th of May, yeah. It never occurred to me. I don't know. I did that once, it was way too long. So that's going to be at the half marathon, it's going to be the same route, just, logistic wise. And then we're going to have a 5K run, and then we'll still do the 2-mile family run. So that is the big change this year. There'll still be shuttles. We're getting bigger shuttles going from the high school down to downtown. So if you want to park up at the high school, that is free. It goes back and forth all day on Saturday and Sunday morning, correct? Well, does it go Sunday? Yeah.
It's like the same amount of time.
Yeah. So I just wanted to let you know about those changes for Stoughton Area this year. So that's it.
You can hang on to that in case there's any more questions. All right, so I'll just buzz through a few things. One of the things we get often is, neighborhoods and individuals are concerned about speed limits in their neighborhood. I mean, nobody in this town speeds, right? I think we all do. Some of us get caught. So what we do is we have these speed boards. You've probably seen them out in about 3 towns. And we rotate them. Sometimes it's based on what we observe, and sometimes it's based on community feedback. So if traffic and speed is a concern in your neighborhood, you can reach out to myself or Chief Jenks, and we can put this board out. And what it does is it not only flashes your speed when you go by, but it also keeps track of that, and then we can monitor that, because everybody thinks, oh my God, every car that goes by my house speeds. Well, that's not always the case, and you can see on the chart here, it has the car counts and it has the different ranges, the speed limit. And in this area here, I think it's 25 miles per hour, and most people are going between 26 and 30. And there is a fair amount of group that are going between 31 and 35. So when we see that, we get that data, then we know we can have an officer there and have some presence. Unfortunately, we can't be everywhere all the time, but we can use the technology to help us manage speed limits. And based on other community feedback, we can control intersections better. So this is an area on Isham Street and South Page Street where the new Magnolia Springs development is. And based on the community feedback and our observations, we put a 4-way stop here now to make this intersection safer. They're in phase 1 of Magnolia Springs, and we know with phase 2 there's going to be more housing in that area, so the traffic is going to increase, so we proactively are putting up stop signs there. We have a couple new reader boards. Has anybody seen these? So we have 2 of them. One of them is on North Page Street as you get almost to the Legion, if you're going up Page from here. And it'll flash your speed when you're going by and it'll remind you to slow down. And if you're a really good driver and you're doing the speed limit, it'll give you a smiley face or a thumbs up as you go by there. You must not be going to the speed limit.
I haven't seen that yet either.
And then the other one is located on Racetrack Road. Racetrack Road, I think they got that name right because people tend to use it as a racetrack, right? They go very fast. Oftentimes they're going to one of the businesses down there. And we actually share Racetrack Road with the town of Dunkirk. And based on their feedback and our observations and our speed boards and the data, we've decided to lower the speed limit there. I think it was 35, we went down to 25, and then we just recently put this flashing light there as well to try to help slow traffic down. So those are some things that we do. These are solar operated, which is another nice thing. We heard that Stoughton Health School District is doing solar panels. We try to do solar as well. We're in the process of putting solar panels on our fire station right now and taking advantage of the federal money while it's still there. We hope it'll still be there for a while, but there's some uncertainty with that. But we've submitted those projects and we're moving forward with them.
Mayor Tim?
Yes.
Those boards, do you ever do those in this downtown part? Have we ever checked the speed like that in this part?
I think they put the bigger trailer reader boards out, but this is certainly something that we could consider in the future. And we can do it 2 different ways as far as the financing. Sometimes they'll write grants and they'll get them, and I think that's what they did in this particular case. Or we can add them into our budget when we do the budget in the fall. If there's a particular area of the downtown that you think is worse than others, feel free to reach out to us and we can see if we can put that on the schedule. The solar lights that flash downtown, we've added several of them through the years, and some up by Page Street as well and up by the high school. That's another what we call traffic calming devices, as well as the little islands, and some of them have crosswalks. And there's going to be a real emphasis when we're doing future street projects to do what they call road dieting. And that's basically to make some of the existing roads narrower when we redo them for a couple reasons. One, the narrower roads tend to slow down traffic, so it's safer. And it also gives us opportunities to do more things like bike lanes or a wider green space area so we can plant bigger trees. So those are all things we take into consideration when the Public Works and the Police Department are putting their budgets together in the fall. But you're going to see a fair amount of road dieting, and you know, on the main roads we typically like to have them wider because there's more traffic. But some of the roads that maybe once were more of a main road now, or collector street as we call them, maybe some other roads are being used more now, so when it gets time to repair and replace those roads, we can take a new look at that. We are going to be doing some road work up by Sand Hill this year too, so we should talk about that. Maybe you're already aware.
You did last summer.
It never ends.
You're right, it never ends.
Yeah. And as we get into the spring here, I can talk a little bit more about the road projects. Maybe we can get Director Avier here again, and he probably has some slides that he can share with you, because we're doing Van Buren, and then we're going to do the other half of Lincoln, basically from the intersection out to B. So we'll put that on your radar. The other thing that we are doing is we recently installed a new siren. So between the fire chief and then some residents out at Kettle Park Senior Living, we discovered we didn't really have good coverage. So the red circle there is where the new emergency outdoor siren is. So if there's like a tornado or a storm coming in, that area there, if they were outside, they couldn't hear the siren. So that's been installed. We work with Dane County to put that together, and we anticipate we'll probably need another one as we continue to develop kind of the northwest there. But those are all things that, as the community grows, we have to do. You know, we obviously want people to feel safe and know when to go indoors when there's a weather alert. Keep in mind, these sirens are only really designed for people that are outside, so if you don't hear them in your house, you should be having your radio on if you're in your house, if bad weather is coming. So these are really outdoor siren alerts. Depot Hill, you've heard a little bit of conversation about that. I had another meeting with the Historical Society this morning. We've had very productive conversations. We are under contract with the foundation that wants to repurpose that area down there, and in the process of acquiring some other buildings. And the Historical Society is working on options for the relocation plan, as well as the chamber. New business is coming to Stoughton. I don't know if you've heard of this one yet, Sarah. This is, I think...
They're already members.
They're already members? Yeah. You must have got the inside scoop. So I think this is where Grasshopper Goods is currently, or I don't know if they're still there
It
yet.
is, it's an employee of Grasshopper Goods, she's taking it over, so it's just switching owners, has a different name, is kind of basically the same store, except she has some more, she's an artist, so she'll have some of her art display.
Yeah, in our downtown, you know, we're blessed to have such an awesome downtown, and our businesses have really continued to flourish even coming out of the pandemic. And last night I had dinner at the Fairing. That's a new place that was Laz's. They've did a tremendous amount of remodeling there. Same thing with Water Street Tavern. And the one thing I've really noticed is that many of the businesses downtown that have changed hands, there's been huge investments into these buildings. And you know, when you start remodeling, just like at your home, especially if it's an older home, you kind of find some things that are there, and as you peel the onion back, you find more, and then eventually you're really just down to the bare bones inside your structures. So I'm really pleased that a lot of the new business owners have really taken the time, invested the money to do it right, and I think that you'll notice that when you go into these establishments. And then also we work specifically downtown with the business owners to really encourage them to use historic preservation for those buildings that are eligible for tax credits. And then we also have a revolving loan program. We have two of them, one for specifically the downtown, and the other one is more of a citywide. So we work with the business owners to try to let them know what resources might be available for them to help them with their remodeling projects. The other thing we do is we are lobbying with the state of Wisconsin. So 2 years ago in their budget, they put some money in there for a state revolving loan program. Ours is better. And what we're trying to encourage them to do is flip those loans into grants, because one of the things I did early is I identified really to the state lobbyists and our public officials that really the revolving loan fund does not close the financial gap when you're trying to remodel an upper floor of a building that's been vacant for 20, 30 years. What creates that gap is things like sprinkler systems and elevators. Those are big ticket items, as the school district can tell you, and Stoughton Health can tell you as well. Very expensive. And what we're trying to do is flip those revolving loan funds into grants to help encourage more workforce housing in the upper floors of these buildings. So we're hoping that that'll be included in the governor's budget and we'll get support at the state level, but whenever it comes to the state, I don't hold my breath. We just do our best to encourage them to do some things that, to me, are common sense, but they don't always do that for whatever reason. I try not to get too involved in the state politics, but I can tell you that we're going to have our state senator and our state representative here in April. So we'll be able to ask them questions about what's going on with the state and particularly the budget. And then in March, next month, we're going to have our county executive Agar is going to be here. So if there's anything that you want to discuss at the county level, she'll be here. The county does a lot with Stoughton and Dane County as a whole in the area of human services. So especially things like the senior center, 40% of their budget is for human services. And they've been very generous to the city of Stoughton over the years, and that's why we have such a wonderful senior center and a lot of the support that we have in the local organizations that we work with. So if you're available in March, I'd encourage you to come down and meet with County Executive Agar. Couple things, we had a snowstorm. Sounds like there's another one on the way. If you don't have a driveway and you park on the street, you might want to sign up for a snow emergency. And what that'll do is it'll tell you when you need to do the alternate side parking. And the way that works is if the snow emergency is called today, which I think it was, today's the 14th. So the snow emergency takes effect at midnight. So that means it'll be the 15th. You want to park on the odd side tonight. That's how that works. But yeah, you can sign up or you can listen to it on various sites, or it's usually on our website and social media as well. And that's really all I had today. I want to make sure we had enough time for the other speakers and we can stick around and answer any more questions you might have. Are there any questions for me? Yes, sir.
Electric scooters. Yesterday, last week, when it was nice outside, I saw a small child on an electric tricycle. And I'm like, I could never even see that out of the car. And these things really fast. And I've talked to them sometimes, so just be careful when you run these things. They run on the sidewalks and the grass, and they're right on you.
Yeah, that's something I can talk with the police chief around about. Which area did you see them?
Around the high school.
By the high school? Okay. Yeah, I can talk to him about that. I know we've also been talking about the ATVs. Some of the townships around us have had local ordinances that allow ATVs now. So Pleasant Springs just allow that, and Dunkirk as well. We don't have an ordinance right now that allows it. I don't know if we really would even want to go there. And there's really no good way if you have an ATV really to get into the city anyway, because we're surrounded by state county highways and the ATVs aren't allowed on them anyway. And I think, you have a combination of things where many folks that live in the rural have them for maybe their farm operation, or some people that maybe in the past had snowmobiles, decided that maybe that wasn't the best investment because we haven't been getting that much snow until the last couple days. And so the trails haven't really been open that much, so the ATVs give them more flexibility. But, you know, so far, I think we had one person approach the police chief, and he basically said, we're not really interested in doing that. But we can certainly bring that one to his attention, because, yeah, we don't want people getting hurt, and I don't know what the ordinance really says specifically about that. You can ride bicycles on the sidewalks, except for in the downtown area. And I know when the highway's gonna be done, there's gonna be some official bike routes to get around the downtown. So I think it's gonna be maybe on East Washington or across the bridge and then over here on Jefferson. So we try to encourage people on bicycles not to bike on Main Street, because once in a while that happens, and if people aren't expecting to see a bike, something bad could happen, to your point. So thanks for sharing that with me. Anybody else?
I just got a couple updates. We're starting to work on the art walk for this coming September, and I think the Smet Foundation has some interest in getting involved with us, so that could be really handy. And also we've got the whole gazebo schedule for this summer lined up. We've signed contracts with all the bands, and I think we have a real full slate of sponsors, so we're looking forward to a real good gazebo season.
Excellent. I know the arts and entertainment is alive and well in Stoughton. I know John is here as well. John puts together the afternoon music appreciation series at the Opera House. I'm not sure when the next group starts. I should know that.
17th of March.
Oh, it's coming right up.
That's right.
17th of March.
And it's an Irish band that's playing. All right.
Oh, just in time. How convenient. So yeah, we thank John for doing that. I know the Senior Center and the Bryant Foundation are sponsors of that, but John does a lot of the heavy lifting to get the entertainment booked. And if you haven't, has anyone been to the music appreciation?
Oh, yeah.
It's great. I mean, nice variety. It's free. They accept donations, but it's at the Opera House, so it's always good to be in the Opera House, especially now that the seats are padded.
They have an elevator.
They do have an elevator there, yes. The elevator is quite slow, but eventually you'll get to your padded seat. Anybody else have questions? Yes, go ahead.
I'm just wondering if I can make a comment.
Sure.
Stand up. My name's Gwen Drury. This is going to be the third time the mayor's heard me say this in the annex.
It gets better every time.
Last summer I said it, and then I said it again in January, and now I'm saying it the third time, so now it's the real deal, okay? And you guys can hold me accountable. So I'm starting a new group in Stoughton called Friends of Downtown Stoughton. And the whole idea of Friends of Downtown Stoughton is to have little mini micro events, not like the big honking events like you guys do, but just like little things that pop up that will just bring joy and fun and pedestrians and life and vitality to the downtown. So we're going to work alongside you guys, alongside the Downtown Merchant Association, alongside the city, and anybody else. And it's going to be volunteers who want to help. You could be 5 years old, you could be 95 years old. Everybody has something to contribute, and everybody should be able to find something fun to do. So that's getting started. I have an email, friendsofdowntownstoughton.com, not real hard to remember. My name is Gwen, and I welcome anybody. I'm just getting it ramped up now, so if you want to be in on the ground floor, now's the time.
All right, thank you. I know we have some handouts here from Larry on the table. Larry's taken some time to write up some notes, so I made copies if you want to grab some on the way out. We're working some additional partnerships with the school district and START that we're hoping that we'll make some progress. We met with the municipal judge the other day, and we had conversations with them, and then we're having different types of collaborations with the Wellness Coalition as well. So there's a lot of really positive synergy going on amongst some of the groups. So I'm really excited about that, and we'll see where it leads us, and once we get there, we'll share that with you. Yes, sir.
Can I just add about that? The thing we got over here, in 2017, I wrote a whole thing that says, the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. We studied that in college, and that was, when I graduated, was what, 1230, something like that. Well, anyway, and then below that I wrote is the American gonna be the next victim.
Yeah, and we have to read the rest, don't
Yeah,
spoil
you
the
have to read the
surprise.
rest, but I just wanted you to know that I wrote this in 2017, this whole thing that's over here. So if you want to see what I wrote, why, it's over here. Okay.
So depending on how you read it, you'll either think Larry is a visionary or something else, so.
Well, this patch I have on my hat is the patch that Eisenhower and his group wore in D-Day in, what was it, June or May, I forget now. That was years ago. I think I was in 5th grade or 4th grade, something like that. But that's the patch they wore, and the Army took it over after the end of the war. But everybody else, nobody had this patch except Eisenhower and his crew in D-Day. And I've learned so many things, like I was working for Honeywell in Minneapolis, and we had guys that come back from different areas. And this guy came from Germany, and he was, I think, 14 or 15 when the Russians got into the capital, and he had to dig mouse traps, tank traps with the kids. That's all they had, kids, and by the end of the war, and he was digging traps for tanks with a bunch of kids. So I mean, I could go on and on about different stories I've heard through the years.
Yeah,
even
thanks for sharing
what's
that.
going on in Israel and all of that going on right now. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and one other thing I want to mention is, at the March meeting, like I said, County Executive Agard is going to be here, and that's also going to be the 3rd year that we have this Spread Goodness in Stoughton. And that's put on by a Stoughton resident and another resident from Evansville. And in the last few years, I know there's been events in the school district, and the McCloskeys will be playing in the other building in the afternoon, and last year it was packed. So if you're looking for something to do on March 14th, I believe that day is, this will be the place to be. You can come here, you can listen to myself and County Executive Agard, take a little break, and then you can go over and enjoy the music at the Senior Center. So it's really a fantastic day, and especially right now, you know, one thing I've noticed in the community, and I don't know if you've seen it in the schools or in the healthcare industry, there's a lot of anxiety right now. And this is a day that we can kind of forget about that, at least for one day, and really work on, you know, enjoying each other and having fun and not stress out over things that are really beyond our control. And so I'm really looking forward to that day, and I hope that you'll join me. So thank you all for being here today.
I don't know how I forgot this, but one more thing I want to share from Stoughton Health. So over this past year, we have worked to get a Patient Family Advisory Council up and running. And again, it's an acronym, we call it PFAC. And what that committee does, it's voices of our patients that have used our hospital, and again, sharing good or bad experiences. And so if any of you are interested or know people that might be interested in just helping us be, again, the best healthcare place that we can be in Stoughton, I believe that information is out on our website, but that committee has helped us with things like weight binding in our new building that we're going to be opening up. They've looked at our discharge instructions and have helped us try to make some sense out of all the paperwork and how to put that together so it's easier for our patients to read and review when they get home. They've helped us with we implemented a virtual sitter. And so we shared that with them and said, tell us what this is going to feel like if you're a patient or a family member that we are using a virtual sitter with. So it's just been a great opportunity to have that patient's voice, family member's voice at the table when we're making some decisions. So if you're interested in that or know of people that might be interested, please go to our website, check it out, and I believe there'll be a name and a contact that you'd be able to email to express your interest. And then one last, I'm gonna spin my hat, If you don't have anything to do this Sunday, the Legion is sponsoring a breakfast. It's a buffet, all you can eat, starts at, I believe, 7:30, runs to 11:30, and all the money that we raise there goes to really great veterans causes in our community, so, there, we're done.
There we go. All right. Thank you all again.